Online.
702.
Tech feature.
11 minutes to 2 o'clock in our tech feature for today. We are chatting about those overlooked risks of connecting to public and free Wi-Fi. And we're joined by Richard Frost, Head of Technology Solutions and Consulting at Armata for this conversation. 011-883-0702 and the WhatsApp line 072-702-1702. Richard, welcome to the show. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me, Lebo.
Richard, just in terms of, how Wi-Fi is becoming at a level, or public Wi-Fi is becoming at a level where people are comfortable to share it freely because maybe they have limitless packages and they also want to attract more business. You see it at malls, you see it at airports. Would you say, before we jump into the risks, that South Africa is sort of on par with the world when it comes to where they can get free Wi-Fi, or do you think we still have a way to go?
Yeah, I think today the consumer in general thinks that internet access is quite expensive. But if you look at it from a business perspective, paying even 1,000 Rand a month for fiber and being able to provide it to your patrons at a restaurant, and giving them free Wi-Fi, the draw to your restaurants, makes it appealing. We were saying earlier, if there's two things in South Africa everybody thinks of, it's load shedding. And if you've got power and free internet, people are going to come to you when the power goes out as well.
Oh, yes. And of course, if they're coming to you to be able to charge their laptops and use your Wi-Fi, the likelihood is they're going to order your food.
Correct. I mean, the longer the person's in, the more they're likely to purchase. I was also thinking that if you want to keep your patrons there, what you do is you do a time-based ticket system that every time they purchase a coffee or something, maybe they get 30 minutes of Wi-Fi on a token.
Now, some of us actually, we bank on free Wi-Fi in the sense that, for example, if you're going to be landing in a foreign country, you want to be able to connect quite quickly before you sort out your SIM card. If you want to get a local SIM card, now there's eSIMs, which are sort of making things a bit easier. But many people also bank on the free Wi-Fi globally.
Yeah, the issue is not really the free Wi-Fi per se if you're utilizing a correct establishment's Wi-Fi, right? Connecting to a Wi-Fi you think is legit and it's actually a threat actor's mobile card that's going through to a application that can actually interrogate your internet traffic. So effectively what happens, instead of connecting to, let's say, for argument's sake, the restaurant's Wi-Fi, you're actually connecting to his Wi-Fi because it's free and there's no password. And he's giving you internet access. But as you're busy doing your stuff, like logging into the bank, he can see your username and password and where you're browsing. And he can utilize that information after you've left to then gain access to your bank account.
Thank you for actually clarifying that part. So you are saying that the legit free Wi-Fi spots, I think in Tshwane, they have certain city of Tshwane where there's a free Wi-Fi. You've got, for example, or Tambo, you've got malls. So are you saying those legitimate ones? Yes. But if you're just willy-nilly taking a chance and looking for open Wi-Fi that somebody has no password on, you don't know who they are, then you are opening yourself up to risk.
100%. And I think don't save those credentials that you ask you for. If you go to something like Tambo and you utilize the Wi-Fi that's there, don't save those credentials so that if anybody does, try to get back into your system afterward, they can't. It's better to rather go to the manager of the establishment and ask him for access to the Wi-Fi. At least, then it's a legitimate person that's actually giving you that instruction as well.
Yeah, you've touched on something so important. Okay, so let's talk about some of these risks and how it is that they are able to do things like intercept, what it is you're doing on your phone or your laptop.
Yeah, so there's two methods. There's one where they basically just look at what you're doing from the fact of, your internet traffic going through their device, right? So if you think about cars on the network and you have a security camera, and the security camera is looking at the car and it says, right, it's a white Ford and this is the registration number. Our internet traffic is pretty much the same. We kind of like packets on a network. It's the same as the car on a freeway. And basically these applications these threat actors are using are looking at all of that traffic and saying, right, I can see this person's logging into this bank And these are the username and passwords that they're creating. We've seen before a big conglomerate that was actually hit with a threat. And the threat actually originated from one of their employees going overseas, connecting to free Wi-Fi at a coffee shop. And even though she was using a secure VPN to connect to the company, the threat actor managed to get her credentials for the VPN itself, managed to impersonate her on the network as her, and then managed to access all the systems using the credentials she'd been using the entire time she'd been at the internet cafe.
So how exactly are they able to do that?
So literally, when you connect to the internet utilizing these rogue devices, they have a mechanism of what we call sniffing. And sniffing is basically looking at all the packets and being able to reassemble. So you almost decrypting the traffic that's going across the internet and looking to see what's in clear text format. And a clear text format would be something like your username and password if it's not encrypted. So those are the types of things that we could see. The other thing that they could do is they could do malware injection into the machine. So effectively, when you connect to their device, they would actually install some form of software on your machine, and that can be then used to record everything at a later stage. And every time you go on the internet, they can pull that information off your machine.
Sure. There is a message here that says, Relebogile, as an unemployed person, I normally go to the mall so that I can access my emails and apply for jobs. Is that dangerous?
Again, I think if you are utilizing a legitimate internet connection and you actually ask the establishment's management for the credentials to get on, you should be okay. Your machine or the device that you're actually using to connect, it would be advisable to have some kind of anti-malware protection as well. Some of the security software you get there is old antivirus software. Not only will it stop you from getting infected by these threat actors' software, but it can also secure the access to the internet, especially if you're using some form of VPN connection to encrypt your traffic so they can't actually look at all your packets, all your internet traffic.
Okay, and I think there is so much for us to think about. Would you suggest, Richard, that even if you are on a verified free network, that it is safer to not do things like log on to your internet banking or anything that is highly sensitive and confidential?
100%. I mean, I would rather do that in a contained environment that you know. We always say, nothing's really free. Free is dangerous. So if the internet access is free, it's probably because you've paid to stay in the hotel or you're eating at the restaurant and then to recoup in the money some way. If you're connecting to Wi-Fi that's free and there's nothing attached, that's generally a red flag to say there's something that could potentially be dangerous. But definitely try and limit what you do and the information that you do send when you connect to a public free Wi-Fi.
Richard, please share your closing thoughts with us.
Yeah, I think if something looks too good to be true, stay away from it.
It probably is.
Yeah. And that's the big problem, and just if you're going to be traveling, like I said, just make sure that you go and speak to the establishment that you want to connect to their Wi-Fi and just validate which system is actually there. Some of these, you might find something like, to give an example, if you go to Mug and Bean, it might be Mug and Bean is the one Wi-Fi, and there might be another one that says Mug and Bean free for customers. And then you connect to that one, and it's actually the wrong one.
Oh, because people are smart enough to know and to name the Wi-Fi anything based on whoever's sitting there. So it could be somebody dodgy. But I love the advice that you're saying. Ask directly from the manager. What is the name of the Wi-Fi? Is there a password? What is the password? So you can ensure you are connecting to the correct one. Richard Frost, Head of Technology Solutions and Consulting at Armata.